Gary, on behalf of Cooper and Larson, you're the Cooper. Congratulations on this award, and very, very proud of you and what it means to be one of the distinguished lawyers in the state of Idaho for 2020.
Well, thank you, Reed.
They've asked us to ask a few questions.
Okay.
The first is, what is your most memorable career achievement or accomplishment?
Well, this award is one. When Don Carey called me, I was frankly flabbergasted. I probably even wept a little. I hate to say that, but you know, it was just an amazing thing for Don to call me and tell me. The other thing that I remember that's quite memorable to me is the day Tony Cantrell called me and told me that I had been inducted into the American College of Trial Lawyers. I was driving between here and Boise, got the call, my wife was in the car. I was pretty shaken by the news, and I had to pull over at the Burley exit, and I tried to explain to my wife what the significance of that was, but I was only babbling at the time, so. But those are the two things that I remember the most and are the most memorable, I think.
What advice would you give new lawyers or law students as it relates to entering the practice of law?
There's a few things I think that, you know, continue to be things that I have to monitor myself about. Number one is, you know, you have to be a zealous advocate for your client, but you can't use that as an excuse to be discourteous to the lawyers on the other side or the clients on the other side. And, you know, we have to have candor with the courts. You have to be honest and forthright with the judges, and I think that they sense that, and it's a big part of your reputation. And so I think that those are really important things that, you know, we as lawyers always have to be sensitive to. I think as far as being a trial lawyer, which is really the only thing that I know, you know, you and I are general practitioners. We've practiced a little bit of all kinds of law over our years, but we're mainly trial lawyers, and I know that if you're a young lawyer coming out of law school, one of the things that you have to do is you have to have a mentor, and you have to get in the courtroom and try cases, and you have to do it early in your career, because if you miss that window of about 10 or 15 years, it's time you can never make up again, and so you might as well find another specialty.
What's the most fun you've had on a case?
It's a hard question.
Not that we've ever had any fun on a case.
It's a hard question because the two experiences that I think of as being some of the best fun I've had, one was when I had been practicing for about 15 years, and Dwight Baker called me and John Bailey, and he had a case, and I think this was in about October. He had a case that was starting trial in January, and he said it was a big case, and Scott Moritz, who had been co-counsel with him, had become ill and couldn't co-counsel that case with him, and he needed some help, and he wondered if we would jump in and help him. And of course, Bailey and I just said yes, without really understanding what it involved. This was a case that eventually took 5 months to try in Idaho Falls, and it was an intense experience. There wasn't anything fun about it while we did it. I probably learned more about being a lawyer watching Dwight Baker and some of the tremendous lawyers that were on the other side of that case. And it was tried in front of Marv Smith, who was a district judge at the time, one of the smartest evidentiary lawyers that I know. And as I said, I learned a lot, and we got a good verdict, and so that made it really fun, but it wasn't much fun doing it. The other thing that was fun was a case that you and I had. Right after we formed our own office, we had a case that originated in Florida, and you and I made several trips to Florida, and we had great fun in Florida. But again, it was a high-stakes case for us. We had to put a lot of our own money into it, and it was pretty scary for us just starting out. But we got a good result for our client. It was a settlement, and you know, it was real fun from that perspective. But you know, those are the two things that I think of often as the most fun I've had being a lawyer.
What entertaining stories do you have from law school that you can tell? The statute of limitations is run on all of them, I think.
I don't even remember law school anymore. The one thing that I do remember, which is kind of unique from my class and a couple of other classes around mine, is that when I entered law school, they were building a new law school. So I started law school in the old administration building for the University of Idaho. There was a little back section that was the law school, and it was built to accommodate maybe, you know, 100 students. But by the time I got to law school, they had already let in a class of over 100 new law students. My class was over 100, so we maxed out that building, and we were in classrooms all over the university campus. And the Thanksgiving of our second year, we moved from the old law school into the new law school. And we had what we called a wake for the old law school. And that meant that we hauled in a bunch of kegs into the old law school building. Everybody drank a lot of beer. All of the professors were there. They did skits and musical performances. It was, I don't remember all of the details, but it was quite a wild evening for a bunch of law students.
I think you're the hardest working lawyer I've ever been around, and having worked with you for 35 years, you're the hardest working lawyer I've seen. What do you attribute that to?
Being scared. I've always been scared to be a lawyer. It's a lot of responsibility to represent clients. I never felt that I had really mastered any part of what I did, so I had to really work hard to try to stay ahead. So being scared, that's the main reason I work so hard and continue to work so hard. I'm still scared.
What's the most embarrassing experience you've had as a lawyer?
Oh, some of the questions that I've asked during trial. I remember trying a case in front of Judge Rasmussen down in Soda Springs, and I asked about a witness. I think I was trying a easement case, and so, you know, establishing the history of this road or whatever it was that we were trying, fence or whatever it was important. And so I asked the witness if he knew this guy, and he goes, yeah, I knew him, but he died a few years ago. And I said, well, and as far as you know, is he still dead? Rasmussen. Those were back in the days when you could go to lunch with the judges and, you know, the lawyers in a small town. I think we tried it in Paris. Small town, we all went to lunch at the same place. Rasmussen gave me so much grief about that question. So that's probably one of the most embarrassing things that I've done. I was pretty young at the time and just had to take it.
Who's your hero?
Well, you're my brother. Brother I never had. I would say there are several heroes. Amongst them are my brother-in-law, Bill Boyd. He's always been a good guy and there to kind of support me. Lou Racine, Bill Olson. I mean, you and I practiced with those guys. I wouldn't be where I am today were it not for the cases that they let me work on and the start that I got in the legal profession, and they were great guys. Bill still is. Lou's passed away many years now, but those were great lawyers. I chased them for a long time, never could catch them, but they were good people to model our careers after, and I know you feel the same way.
I do. Thanks and congratulations.
Thank you, Reed. I appreciate it.